Hey, you guys. So we are continuing with decimals, but now we're moving into the fifth grade standard for decimals. So that's why you see a fifth grade standard there on the screen. And we're looking at reading and writing decimals with decimals through the thousands in standard form. And then we're also going to look at expanded form in the same slide. So you guys are all familiar with this place value chart. You've seen it before. You know that the whole numbers are to the left of the decimal, and then the decimals are to the right of the decimal, or the parts. And as you are aware, there are three ways to represent numbers. Okay, we have the standard form, where we use our base 10 numbers or numerals or digits, and that is 467,882. We have expanded form, which is where we stretch out that number. Okay, and for expanded form, it is very, very important for you to have a really, really good understanding of place value because that is going to help you. So we have 400,000 plus 60,000 plus 7,000 plus 800 plus 80 plus 2. And we know that by looking at the first digit of each, or the digit that's in that place for each number. And we know that all the numbers after that turn into zeros. And then we have the number name, or the word form, 467,882. So we're going to take this same basic understanding and put it toward decimals, okay? So here we have the number name to standard form, okay? So we have 5 and 33 hundredths, okay? So we have 5. So we know that that 5 is going to be in the ones place, okay? Because we know, if you remember, that the and represents the decimal, okay? So the and is the representation of the decimal. So 5 and every other number that comes after that and is going to be uh, after the decimal, okay? So it's 5 and 33 hundredths. Now we know where um, where we're going to end is because it says hundredths here. So it's 33 hundredths. So we know a 3 will go here in the tenths place, and a 3 will go here in the hundredths place. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so this is it in standard form, 5.33, but we know we don't read it like that. We read it as 5 and 33 hundredths. Okay, so here we have 7 and 48 hundredths. Same thing. This 7 is going to go in the ones place. Easy peasy. The and represents the decimal, and then the 42, 48, okay, is going to go after the decimal. The 8 is going to be in the hundredths place because it tells us right here hundredths. So we have 7 and 48 hundredths, and that is the standard form as 7.48. Okay, so we have 8 and 923 thousandths. Okay, 8 and 923 thousandths. The 8 is going to go in the ones place. Okay, that part is easy. You guys know that. The and is the decimal. Okay, now we have the thousandths. Okay, so this shows us that this number in this place value chart is going to end right here in the thousands place. Okay, and that number is going to be a 3 in the thousands place. So we're going to have a 9 in the tenths place, a 2 in the hundreds place, and a 3 in the thousands place. And in standard form, it is written as 8.923, but it is read as 8 and 923 thousandths. Okay. We have one more. We have 24 and 457 thousandths. Okay. Easy. First part is easy. We know 24. We're gonna have a 2 in the tens place, 4 in the ones place. The and is the decimal. Okay. And then we have 457 thousandths is going to end in the thousands place, right? So 4 will be in the tenths, a 5 will be in the hundreds, and the 7 will be in the thousandths. Try not to get confused, okay, because it says 100, okay? It does say 100, but that doesn't mean we're starting here, okay? We're starting here, okay? Easy peasy. And we write that, or we in standard form, that is 24.5457. Okay, now we're going from expanded form to standard form. Okay, now it's going to be the same thing. You know that when you add up the numbers, if you're when we're working with whole numbers, you line up the numbers and add them up, they will be equal to whatever the number is written in standard form. Okay, it's going to be the same thing for decimals. The difference is you have to remember to line up the decimals. Okay, so we have 2 plus 4/10. Okay, because we know that this is the ones place, this is the tenths place, plus 300ths. Okay, same thing. You really need to know your place value, especially your decimal place value, for you to be successful with this. But don't worry, on the form I will put a place value chart for you to use until you become a little bit more familiar with it. Okay, so remember to line up the decimals. Okay. So here we have the 2. We don't have a decimal here, right? But we know that anything after the whole number to the right of the whole number is going to have a decimal, which is why we're able to put a decimal there. Okay? And then you add it up. You're going to throw in some zeros as placeholders if you like. You don't have to, because we know that there's nothing here. So we know it's going to be 0 plus 3, which is 3. This would be 0 plus 4 plus 0, which would be 4. We bring the decimal straight down, and then 2 plus 0 is 2. That's this decimal written in standard form. 2 and 4300ths, okay? Or 2.43, but that's not how we read it. Now, this is how you know you're correct. If you look at the last number here in this decimal written in standard form, expanded form, you'll see that the last place is the hundredths. So it's 2 spaces after the decimal. You want to look here, you should have 2 spaces after the decimal. If you've got 1 space after the decimal or 3 spaces after the decimal, you've done something wrong. So you're going to need to go back and check your work. Okay, so now we have 3 plus 8/10ths plus 900ths. We're going to write it in standard form. So I know that there's 2 decimal places after right here. Okay, so, and that's the hundredths. Line up the decimals. Boom. We add 0 plus 9 is 9. 8 plus 0 is 8, right? Bring the decimal right down, and we've got 3. So that's 3 and 89 hundredths. Standard form. Okay. Now we have one that has a larger whole number, but we're going to treat it the same way. Okay. So we have, oh, whoops, I'm sorry. What did I do? Okay. So we have 7, we have 70 plus 5 plus 4. I'm going to cut it off there.